name is Gleb Tsipursky. I'm one of the co-founders of the Pro-Truth Pledge and the leader of the president of Intentional Insights, one of the co-founders of the organization as well. So let's go from left to right on the screen. Agnes, Bentley, and then Herb. Agnes?
Hi, everyone. I'm Agnes Vishnevkin, and I'm a co-founder of Intentional Insights, along with Gleb, and a co-founder of the Pro-Truth Pledge, which is currently our biggest project here in Columbus, Ohio, along with Gleb. He's right here. I'm also a secretary, so I have this computer and taking notes.
And hi, everyone. I'm Bentley Davis, one of the board members of Intentional Insights and a co-founder of the Pro-Truth Pledge.
Cool. Excellent. Herb, would you like to introduce yourself? And then Tom can introduce himself. Herb, you're on mute. Herb, can you unmute yourself? Okay, in the meantime, Tom, do you want to introduce yourself? Tom, you're on mute.
Yeah, just
I know. I was doing sign language, Gleb. How are you?
Excellent.
I just came to check this out. I'm following you for for how long? You're a super rock star.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
Hi everybody. I'm Tom.
Hey.
I'm from Pennsylvania. I have a show called The Big Daddy Roadshow, and I seen Gleb pop up on my news feed. And I thought, let me go see what all the smart people are saying.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So Tom is one of our public figures who signed the Pro-Truth Pledge as the host of his own radio show, several radio shows actually.
Well, welcome, Tom. We do this every month.
Yes.
Good fun.
I was going to go work out, so I'm going to just watch for a while and listen.
Sure.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it's part of our regular board meeting. We do the closed board meeting, and then we open up. So Bentley's been here for an hour. Who will be here for an hour. So glad to have you.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Did we lose Herb?
Yeah.
So I'm going to meet you back, Tom.
Okay. Daniel, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Dan Stevens. Just somebody who's interested in truth, and I'm from New Springs, Texas.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for introducing yourself. Okay, Herb, can you introduce yourself?
Can you hear me?
No, we can hear
Yes.
you. Excellent.
You can. Okay.
Yes.
Herb New. I live in rural North Alabama. I think an early interested member of the Intentional Insights and the Pro-Truth Pledge. Big fan of what you all are doing.
Excellent. Thank you, Herb.
Good to have you here again.
Great.
What's that?
Good to have you here on the call
thank
again.
you. Good to be here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So at this stage, we'll have a brief introduction of what Intentional Insights has been working on in the last,
Actually,
I guess 2 months.
We skipped last month.
Yes, we skipped last month. So we skipped last month because we had a board retreat right here in Columbus, Ohio. So Agnes and I are both located here. And so is our treasurer, Steve Munch. And Bentley Davis, who's on this phone call, another board member, has came over to plan out our strategy for the next 6 months, at least until the next board retreat. And so we've been focusing on a lot of internal planning to improve the structure of the organization and especially improve. There are several things that we need to work on. One is fundraising, so that's a major important thing that I'll talk about in a bit. Another is getting volunteers, getting volunteer leaders, people who can manage others. So we have a number of volunteers, which is awesome. What we are lacking in is volunteer leaders, coordinators who can coordinate other people and take charge of projects and get various projects accomplished. So that's another big challenge that we have evaluated as we're facing. And we want to make the organization sustainable by making the current leadership team replaceable. So another thing that we talked about was creating processes and documenting our processes, creating guidelines so that other people can step in if one of us is one of the current leadership team was hit by a bus. Right now, the organization is very dependent on Bentley, Agnes, and myself, because we know so many things and we can run so many things. But if one of us disappears, that would be really bad for the organization. So we want to make sure that things are documented and things are sustainable. So we're kind of leveling up the growth of the organization. So it's kind of internal stuff that we are working on. And externally, our major, well, in those areas, we've been really working on fundraising. So we hired publicists for to get us on national media, prominent media, and they've been successful. Our most recent prominent feature was in CBS News, so that's great. Now we need to fund that publicist, so we were able, and that costs about exactly $15,000. So we were able to fundraise 10,000. I think 2,500.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the current thing. And just to put that in perspective, Intentional Insights as an entire nonprofit has a budget of about $42,000 per year. That's it. Everyone who's on this call, we're all full-time, volunteers. I'm a full-time volunteer. Gleb's a full-time volunteer. Bentley is like hugely volunteering. I don't know if he's full-time, but he has a day job too. So in addition of $42,000 per year, we're trying to raise $15,000 just for 3 months of this PR company who are doing a good job. And so right now, so far, we've raised $11,275.
Yeah, Agnes takes care of the finances. That's what she does.
I'm going to put this link in the chat for everyone who's on this call in case you don't have access. You haven't seen this link, but I'm updating the numbers every day. We have still 25% to go towards this amount. Otherwise, we'll have to kind of figure out where to get the cash to pay the bill.
So that's an important thing that we've been doing. Another thing that we've been doing is we found a really good strategy to get so right now, of course, is the 2018 election season, and primaries are going on in a number of states. And of course, the general election is going to be in November. So we've been focusing on reaching out to candidates in particular. The Pro-Truth Pledge is not simply about candidates. It's about candidates for office. It's about all public figures. Like, Tom here took the Pro-Truth Pledge and so did others. But this year, we've decided to really focus prior to the election on candidates. And we've been pretty successful, actually. So far, we've found that the most successful strategy is to get public records requests of candidates per state. And that's really effective. It's quite important for us to have someone who lives in a state. Ideally, you do the public records request in each state. But once we do that, we found that we can send a mass email to all the people, to all the candidates in that state whose emails are available. And we find that we have maybe a 1% sign-up rate from that, which is great, because then if we have, somebody recently got all the list of people from North Carolina, and there's something like 1,300 people who are running, and about maybe 1,100, maybe 1,000 of them have appropriate email addresses. So that's maybe about 10 candidates who are able to get to sign the pledge, which is great. So that's a huge impact just from somebody spending maybe about half an hour using public records requests. So we found that to be really effective. And that's how we got to where we are right now, where free congressmen and women, free incumbents, actually. So sitting members of Congress have taken the Pro-Truth Pledge, which I'm very proud to say.
And I believe 2 of them was through this.
2 of them were through this outreach strategy. So I think I'll stop here. I think that gives you a sufficient picture of what we've been doing internally and externally, and the kind of needs that we have and the kind of accomplishments that we have. So right now is your turn to ask any questions that you wish. You can unmute yourself if you wish to ask a question, or you can type something in the chat. So look forward to hearing what you have to say. So Herb and then Tom. Herb, you'll want to unmute yourself. So yeah, you should see a screen that says, I'll do a screen share.
You know, we can also just unmute people.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, you got it. Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, I figured it out, sort of.
Great.
It took me a while, but I have a complete list of the statewide Democratic candidates. I'm not going to go after any Republicans.
Fair enough.
This includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gubernatorial candidates.
Excellent.
And we have 2 attorney general candidates. 2 secretary of state, several state representatives from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So far, 11 districts in Alabama.
Perfect. So then can you send me the list in an Excel file format? That's one.
I use Pages. I don't. I use all Apple stuff. But
then you should be able to export it in the CSV
I
format.
can export it.
Yep, export it in the CSV format. Send it to me. That's one step.
Okay.
And
now I
then,
don't have all the email addresses. I'm still working on gathering them. Just Googling around. But
great. Something you should be able to do is use a public records request. It might be much easier. If you go to the Secretary of State, that's usually the place. So go to the Secretary of State website and figure out how to do a public records request. You might be able to get a record of all of them at the same time, including Republicans, including libertarians, including socialists, whatever.
Great.
All the people. So that might be a very convenient thing for you to do. So you'll have a much easier time. So I suggest trying that out, the Secretary of State, and figuring out how to do a public records request.
All right, that's okay. I'll do that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Email you.
Excellent.
Or I'll send you an Excel.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yep, CSV is fine as well. All right, Tom, unmute yourself, and then your question.
Yes, I do. It's not as good as Herb's question, but it's still a great question. How do I get to know, like, is this always at the same date every month and time? I could put it in my Google Calendar, or is there a way to get an automated reminder of this? This is pretty neat to follow along.
Yeah, well, what happens is that in the Facebook group for Intentional Insights Insiders, if you're in that group, we set up an event every month. And for this year, it's going to be at this time on the 4th Wednesday. But it may shift around because it depends on the regular board meeting where we do it, just Intentional Insights board business. But you can expect it to be at this time for the rest of the year, except for whenever we're going to skip a month, probably at a board retreat in October or something. Mm-hmm. But if you stay tuned to the Facebook group, we put an event over there, and we always have an open board meeting while all the board members are here already doing the other stuff, and we just have a brief chat and a little update about whatever. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is pretty regular. Yeah. We also post a video usually. So right now this is being recorded. So we're going to post a video later. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I try to post notes as well that I'm typing up.
Yep.
So you can go back if this is fun, watch all the watch some previous ones, or if you can't make it, just, we have these available for folks to watch later.
Yeah, so the next, I think, definitely for September, it's on the 4th Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
7 Eastern.
7 Eastern.
We're going to skip October. We're going to do another retreat.
Yes, so October we're going to skip because of the board retreat.
Okay. Did everybody here watch Gleb's show with me? I'm just curious. Raise your hands. Anybody? No?
Yes, of course.
Oh, okay. Good answer. Here's the deal. Here's what I'll promise you guys. I'm running my candle at both ends and in the middle, just producing these shows. I'm going to tell you straight up. Not all my shows are for everybody. They're crazy, but I do have a serious show called Real Talk with Big Daddy, and that's the one that I have people like Gleb on. Mm-hmm. And I got some really interesting. Like this Monday, I got 5-time world kickboxing champion Kathy Long coming on.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, if you guys just are into martial arts or just want to learn how to respond and not react to people when they get you nuts, that's what I've been learning as a host to a show. like to just
Yeah.
breathe, right? But anyway, I'm going on tour, certainly the East Coast. I have people funding me and people donating big money to pay for graphics, and I'm going to go to festivals all over. So if you want
Nice.
Gleb, and everybody else is up for it, if you can send me whatever you want, or if you just want me to make a big, I mean, you have to see these graphics. The guy owns a company that does all the giants, like all the big chain stores that you go into, giant supermarkets. They're waterproof. So when I go out, I'm going to set up these big displays to just sell enough product to just pay for the tour, hopefully. But I'm happy to promote your truth movement because I think it's cool.
Thank you.
So I'm also really quick. If Herb could just tell me in the chat, then I'll shut up. Why did you only go after Democrats? I'm just curious. Is it only because you are a Democrat and that's who you know? Or
listen, I live in the red state of Alabama, and it's number 50 in income, number 50 in infant mortality. It's at the bottom of the pits with education, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't have Medicaid. If you earn over $12,000 a year, you're not eligible for Medicaid. So far, 7 hospitals have closed because of this. It's a very poor state. So I just simply cannot abide by Republicans. I live in a town of about 900, of which there are 65 registered Democrats. So, you know, I'm a voice in the storm. There's enough Republicans. None of them tell the truth. In fact, it's pretty hard getting Democrats to tell the truth. Or even nobody. It's a crazy time that we're living in. So I'm hoping I can swing the pendulum a little bit towards rationality.
Well, Herb, if you ever want to come on one of my shows, you're welcome.
Cool.
Hey, really quick, and then I'm done. I appreciate you guys having me just watching along with this, and I'll be back for more. But tonight I have a show on political correctness where I kind of bring up that professor from Toronto, Jordan Peterson. I don't have when I do my shows, I want all views on it. So if you're bored late tonight, check it out. It's live. You can actually come live with me. Anybody, just like you guys talking with Gleb here. Very
Where
simple.
Down.
You want to type in? You want to type in a link?
I'll be happy to do that. And like I said, just watch the titles because some shows might not be for you, but just know that I'm out there.
Awesome.
I'm a comedian. I'm blue collar. I believe in, we should use couth and we shouldn't be rude and we should be nice to our neighbors, but I'm all for free speech. And I don't know if it's going to be a good thing if we start legislating what people can say and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, tonight.
I agree. We should be very careful about legislating what people say. That's why the pro-truth movement is very much grassroots up, libertarians.
Although I'd like to see the fairness document come back.
Yeah. So anything you want to talk about, if ever you see a show, that's what my show is. It's just random, everyday people and cool rock stars like Gleb here coming up and just educating people. So
get me a link.
I'm going to type it in, guys. And then I'm going to work out. I've lost 2 pant sizes. I'm on tour this summer. I got work to do.
What?
Great job.
Congrats.
All right. Excellent. Thanks, Tom.
Okay. And Tom, I'll send you a message regarding any materials. What's a good way to contact you?
I'll just send him a message.
Okay. Gleb will send you a message. I'll send you stuff.
We got connections on our website easily. If you got anybody else you think could be a guest on my show, or if you think somebody else could get your message out too and spread that message, it's all on my website. I'll put it here. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Nice meeting you, Tom.
Very nice meeting all of you. Very good. Cool.
Excellent. See you later. All right. Any other questions from anybody else?
It's an uphill battle, isn't it, Gleb?
Yes, it is. It is an uphill battle, but I'm very pleased to see that we already have 3 congressmen, which is, I didn't think that we would have any congressmen by this stage in the game. I thought that we would have to elect somebody who's a candidate, then get them into Congress. So I'm very pleased that we have 3 congressmen and women who have chosen to take the pledge.
All right.
Cool beans.
Anybody else? All right. Then briefly, the next part is discussing the primary election. So that's kind of the specialized topic for this segment of the show. So the primary is the the primaries are coming up in a number of states. Here in Ohio, they're on May 8th. In many other states, they are coming up. So May is the really start of the primary season. There are some primaries that are held earlier in a number of other states, but in like Texas, for some reason, holds them in March. But most of the primaries are happening right now. And so what we've been working on so far, the main focus is what I mentioned earlier, the public records request, in order to get the names of candidates and then ask them to take the pledge, because we figure we have the best chance before the primary, before they win their own party's primary. That makes it most likely for the candidate to consider taking the pledge. They are least entrenched. They are least involved in the power structure. So from very many people who took the pro-truth pledge, far from all of them, I mean, like I said, we have 3 incumbent congressmen, but the large majority of officials who took the pledge tell me how they get into politics to change it. So they're candidates and they're trying to get in there to change politics, change the structure to be more truthful. And that's why they're willing to take the pledge. So we really want to get them, get them when they're young, so to speak. Well, they're young politically, at least. So that's really important for us. And so that's been something that we've been seeing. We also have a team of people who are specifically working on reaching out to candidates in a whole variety of states using Facebook, Twitter, and so on. That's another thing that we've been doing for the primary. And so another thing that we've been doing for the primary elections that we found has worked really well is to go in person to Congress, all sorts of elections when they have candidate forums, and ask people to sign the pledge, especially if you're being videotaped. That's an especially great time to approach people and get them up, put them on the spot. So those are some tactics that we have found to be quite effective. I'm going to end here and ask for any questions and comments and feedback and suggestions for improvement on what we're doing for primary election outreach.
I'm going to be a poll worker.
Excellent.
I'll be watching things.
Great. Thank you for your volunteering there.
It's like being in a zoo, watching our rural neighbors, 3rd, 4th, and 5th generation people living on the mountain that I live on. It's very interesting. It's also the home of the DAR school, Daughters of the American Revolution.
Oh, that might be an interesting town. Yeah, that might be somewhere to consider canvassing about the pro-truth pledge and seeing whether any of them will be willing to sign. But just for interest purposes, I have no idea. But
I don't know if I have the nerve.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I wonder if they'd be interested in like a presentation.
I already got my mailbox bashed in.
Oh no! Okay, yeah.
A Doug Jones campaign sign out front.
Jeez. Okay. Yeah, that's. I could see where that would be scary. All right. Thank you, Herb.
You're welcome.
All right. Other folks, questions, comments about our primary strategy? See you, Tom. Thanks for stopping by.
Okay, I guess I'll say so long also.
All right.
All right. I don't know how to do that, so you take care of it.
I will. Okay, everyone. Great. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us, and I appreciate you hanging out. And thank you, Danielle. I think this is the first time you came, so I was glad to see you. Great. Thank you all.
Bye.
Oh, thank you for emailing Cole Hefner, asking him to sign the pledge. Appreciate seeing you, Daniel. And
You too.
yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. Bye, everyone.